Complaint is a poisonous arrow. Xiefeng. When things are not going as one has expected or imagined, one will feel extremely uncomfortable and thus unleash implicitly or explicitly one's dissatisfaction upon the people who he or she thinks is the cause for his or her dissatisfaction so as to express his or her grievances and anger. This feeling or behavior is called complaining. Complaint occurs mainly between husband and wife, between colleagues, partners, superiors and subordinates, between parents and children, between sisters and brothers, and between neighbors. If jealousy is a poison that hurts oneself, complaint is a poisonous arrow that hurts others. Complaints are one of the major causes for the tension, conflicts, contradictions, ruined relations, and violent fights between husband and wife, colleagues, partners, superiors and subordinates, between parents and children, between sisters and brothers, and between neighbors. Complaint is the maltreatment of others' spirit and soul. The more civilized and better educated the people are, the more deeply they will be hurt. A person who is always the object of complaint cannot live a life of his own style. Even worse, such complaints can cause a distorted and abnormal mentality, inexplicable loss of temper, the loss of confidence in future, the dejection, the resentment and desperation, and even suicide. The complaints among relatives against each other can cause more severe injury to people's spirit and soul. The most frequent complaints occur between husband and wife. The endless babbling, nagging, and complaining can cast a shadow over the family, will severely affect the physical and spiritual well-being of family members, and especially will have adverse effect on children. Complaints have been the greatest cause for a member to run away from home. Here let me give a few examples of complaints. Why are you always so irrational? Can you let me alone and have some peace? Would you end up in trouble and distress of today if you had followed my advice? I have told you again and again, but you would never listen. I would be more than blessed if you were like Xiao Wang. Why can't you draw lessons from past mistakes? You are making the same mistakes again and again. It's all your fault if it were not for you. Should things have fared so badly? He is such a useless person who can never do anything well. If it were not for you, I would not have been landed in such a miserable situation. It's all your fault. All these are complaints, which are extremely harmful. A person who complains against others always believes that he is in reason, he is in the right, and he is wiser than others. Actually, it is only latterwit. He shifts all the blames onto the other person to ensure his own peace of mind, which is a sign of selfishness. Thus, few people who complain against others are sane themselves. They are born with a deficiency of a heart of mercy. What is there to complain about? Everyone has his strengths and weaknesses, everyone is faced with his own difficulties, and has the objective causes for not having done something well. Something may be as easy for someone as turning his palm over, but may be extremely difficult for others, for whom the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. So mutual understanding and consideration are needed. The purpose of life is to attain joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing. Can complaining bring you the joy and happiness? Do what you should do and take the road that you should take. Why do you have to complain against others? Do not keep raking up the unhappy things in the past, unless you want others to suffer and wish to maltreat and punish them. The husband and wife can break company in a good manner instead of complaining endlessly if they feel incompatible with each other, thus letting each other go their own way. There is no need to subject each other to the maltreatment and torture of soul and spirit every day. In the paradise there is no jealousy. In the same way, there is no complaining in the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and celestial island continent of the paradise. All those wishing to have a beautiful future and long for the heavenly kingdom must not be jealous of each other, and must not complain against each other. It is absolutely impossible to go to the heavenly kingdom if those engaged in self-cultivation and self-refinery do not get rid of jealousy and complaining. Man is a solitary traveler. Everyone should bear consequence for everything he does. It is not reasonable at all to complain against others. We should understand how wonderful it is to have someone accompany us on our journey of life. It simply does not matter if we have screwed things up. Life itself is a game. No matter what happens, what really counts is to have a joyful and happy life. A happy and joyful person has only one reason to be happy, but an unhappy and depressed person may have thousands of reasons to be unhappy.
你们一定要诚实。
Please be honest. Xiefeng. February 8th, 2011. Jesus Christ told us, "You should call a spade instead of beating about the bush. It is evil to say anything untrue." Honesty is the best policy. Honesty is the most solid steps that lead to the heavenly kingdom. You must be honest and avoid lying and cheating. Just tell things as it truly is, and say yes to mean yes and say no to mean no. You should act and think in the same way. You should be consistent in words and actions. You should not engage in double dealing. Honesty is the quality of celestial beings and angels of citizens in the heavenly kingdom. Lying is the quality of monsters, demons, goblins, and devils of citizens in hell. There are gods and deities just 3 feet above our heads. Even whispers in human world can be as sonorous as thunder to heaven, and even cheating in the dark chamber are clearly visible to magical eyes. Please keep in mind that gods and deities can pierce all your mental activities. A clever person may fall victim to his own cleverness. Any person who resorts to cheating may eventually become the victim of cheating. In this home of ours, we must be honest to the guide. The more honest we are, the greater benefit we will have. The less honest we are, the greater losses we will suffer. If you tell a lie, I can see most clearly, no matter how good a disguise you have put on. Even if you have temporarily hoodwinked me, you will be exposed very soon and I will see through you. When I know that you are a dishonest soul, you are already worthless in my heart. If you cheat me, I will also cheat you, and I will treat you in the same way as you have treated me. When you are extremely pleased with the thought that the guide does not know he has been hoodwinked by your blandishments, I can actually see clearly through all your trickery but just feign foolishness and let you display your smartness. Eventually, the fool is not the guide, but you who think you are the cleverest. The honest person is the most intelligent. The dishonest person is the most foolish. We should not beat about the bush. We should seek truth from fact and tell things as it really is. The honest people may suffer temporary losses, but will eventually be richly rewarded. The dishonest people may be pleased with temporary success, but will ultimately be dealt with severe punishment. Be honest to an honest person. Be dishonest to a dishonest person. But keep in mind, we should be most honest to the greatest creator. We must be most honest to God, Buddha, celestial and sages. We must be most honest to our superior. We must be most honest to the guide of life and life.
紧盯真善美，躲避假恶丑。
Pursue sincerity, kindness, and beauty. And shy away from falsity, evil, and ugliness. Xiefeng. May 22nd, 2010. The theory of Taiji tells us, the created universe carries the yin at its back and the yang in front. Sincerity coexists with falsity, kindness with evil, beauty with ugliness, love with hate, life with death, disaster with blessing, honor with disgrace. The unity of opposites is the fundamental law of the universe. There is nothing absolute, and things are all relative. This is true of the whole universe, the society, everything, every object, every person, and every phenomenon. The people that are heading for heaven are those who pursue sincerity, kindness, and beauty, and consciously shy away from falsity, evil, and ugliness, and chase the sun and escape the darkness. No matter whether they observe the universe, nature, and human society, or everything, every object, every phenomenon, or every person, they can always see their sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty, and ignore their falsity, evil, ugliness, resentment, and hypocrisy. They look forward to the heaven and pay no attention to the hell, because they understand the law of attraction. Whatever consciousness of soul a person has, and whatever reality that person will perceive. They also understand that birds of a feather flock together, that a person with an ugly soul can only see an ugly world, and a person with a beautiful soul can see a beautiful world. For this purpose, I have 8 requirements for Chanyuan Celestials. Do not search for and highlight the dark side of the society, but search for and highlight the bright side of the society. Do not expose the ugly side of human nature, but highlight the beautiful side of human nature. Be ready to compliment rather than find fault. Keep a distance from those who like grumbling, who spread rumor and gossips, who are listless and dispirited, who are arrogant and conceited, who are extremely selfish, who are sorrowful, and who are negative and pessimistic. Associate with those who are youthful, who are humble and hopeful, who are optimistic and generous, and who are the closest to the greatest Creator. Listen more often to beautiful words and soothing and melodious music, and less often to noises. Watch and read more often the film, television, newspapers, magazines, and network information that exhibit sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty, but less often those that exhibit murder, violence, and the ugly side of society and human nature. Read more often my account of the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and celestial island continent of the Elysium world, and pay less attention to the unfortunate state in the human world, animal world, and hell. Communicate more with nature and do not associate with those in the secular world who are greedy, selfish, and deceitful. Try hard to guide consciousness toward simplicity, order, and harmony, and refrain from probing into things that are profound, grotesque, quaint, absurd, and other unnatural and disorderly things. Maintain an optimistic, active, and positive attitude toward everything, and reject the passive, pessimistic, and negative attitude. The orderly consciousness creates an orderly world. The beautiful soul creates a beautiful life. If you have an evil eye, everything around will be evil. If you have a heart of Buddha, you can see Buddha everywhere. There is nothing wrong with the world. We are the ones that are at fault. Even if ugliness and wickedness prevail the world, we can keep a clean soul and strive to be an angel. Even if others are hypocritical and cunning, we can show our sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, faith, and honesty. We do not grumble, do not complain, do not expose the society, do not find fault with others. We are content with what we have. We do not reach for what is beyond our grasp. We are not ambitious. We live an ordinary life. We do not seek fame, interest, position, and power. We only pursue joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing. We do not aim to own anything in the human world. Our only purpose is to move forward 1,000-year world, 10,000-year worlds, and celestial island continent of the Elysium world. Pursue sincerity, kindness, and beauty, and shy away from falsity, evil, and ugliness. Be pious to Buddhahood, and run toward the celestial island continent.
在上帝的王国里永远不能傲慢。
Never be arrogant in the kingdom of the greatest Creator. Xiefeng. May 1st, 2012. Translated by Tsong Long. Everyone who lives in the second home, now new oasis for life, should always remember that everything we get from the community is a gift bestowed by the greatest Creator. Compared to His mercy, what we do for the second home is nothing. Therefore, we should always keep a humble attitude and never be arrogant. Arrogance is a characteristic which matches neither a Chanyuan Celestial's quality, nor is it in harmony with life in the kingdom of the greatest Creator. Arrogance is a quality of the devil, not that of Buddha. It is a weed in our soul garden which must be removed. Therefore, no matter how knowledgeable we are or how much we have contributed to the second home, even if we are very intelligent and capable, we should never be arrogant. The symbols of arrogance are: to think that the second home would not still exist without us. To think that we play a very important role and the second home will not be able to sustain without us. To think that we are very wise and intelligent, superior to our brothers and sisters. To take everything for granted and think that the community should meet all our requirements. If there is any request that cannot be satisfied, we get upset and become pessimistic. To think very highly of ourselves and condemn and criticize other brothers and sisters. To think that our brothers and sisters are not as outstanding as we, and become lazy and no longer participate actively in the building of the second home. To think that the second home owes us, are not willing to accept criticism, and always think that we are right. To always want to do office work or be the leader of the community, not willing to do dirty and heavy labor. To always show off and want everyone to admire us. To criticize, condemn, and ridicule others. Arrogance is a symbol of narrow-mindedness, shallowness, ignorance, and an uncivilized character. It is also the watershed that divides the celestial from the devil, and one of the most important symbols of a flawed soul. Therefore, everyone should be mindful not to let arrogance invade your soul. No matter how great we think we are, how outstanding we seem to be, or how much we have contributed, no matter what position we are at and are admired by how many people, no matter whether we are an expert, a celebrity, a high-ranking official, a rich man, or have a doctor's degree, once we enter and live in the second home, we need to think of ourselves as the most ordinary and in lowest position, and always keep a humble heart. We enter the second home not for position, fame, and power, material comforts, beautiful women, or handsome men, and not for glorifying our ancestors or passing a good reputation to 100 future generations. Rather, we are here to perfect our souls, repay our debts from previous lives, and accumulate our treasures in heaven, then go to the Elysium world. Once we have a feeling of arrogance, we will not be able to go forward, and we will make mistakes and ruin our futures. It will also become an obstacle to building our ideal community. Eventually, all our most beautiful dreams will become void, and we will regret that forever. Please, always return to the starting point and fly in the space of the Pure Land. You will see different scenery. It is also one of the best ways to reach heaven.
修行路上一定要点亮心中的神灯。
Light the sacred lamp in your heart. Xiefeng. January 10th, 2011. Translated by Tsong Long and edited by Care. We can face problems or stumble into traps when we walk in the dark. More seriously, we could take a wrong turn and be lead away from our destination. It is only when we walk in the sunlight or shine a lamp to brighten our way that we are able to reach our destination, one step at a time. As cultivators, we must first learn where we want to go. Then, we need to follow this path and not be distracted or misled by anything along the way. We need to discard anything that hinders us from moving forward, because if we are attached to something we own or are unwilling to surrender things that are unnecessary, our trip would be delayed or end prematurely. We would never reach our destination, and the result of such poor cultivation would be that all our energy and effort are wasted. The two objectives for the cultivation of a Chanyuan Celestial are very clear. The first is to lead a happy, joyful, free, and blessed life, and the second is to extend their life to heaven, 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and Elysium world. The only way to reach these goals is to initiate a new era for humankind where the talented will be put to good use and the whole world will be one family. No one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night. and everything is in harmony and the weather is very pleasant. This is also an era when all citizens of the earth will enjoy happiness and freedom. What we do to realize this dream is embodied in the building of the Life Genuine cause, especially the second home, now new oasis for life. In short, helping to build Life Genuine is the best way to self-cultivate. The difficult problems of the world must be dealt with while they are yet easy. The great problems of the world must be dealt with while they are yet small. If we do not focus our efforts on small things, we will not be able to realize our beautiful dreams. And if we